Grace, mercy, and peace be to you from God our Father and our servant, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The words for our meditation this morning are from part of the reading that we had. This is from John chapter 13, verses 12 to 17. Those words are also printed in your bulletin. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. This is God's word. Fellow servants of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Today's sermon, as I've already mentioned, the text is very familiar to most of us. It is a sermon in which we hear Jesus doing something. And it's Jesus as he is preparing to go to the cross. In a few short hours, he would be arrested, abducted in that Garden of Gethsemane and taken away. And within 24 hours of saying these words, Jesus would be on the cross, suffering the agony of our souls, for our souls. This morning, as we continue with a series of serious joy, which we'll have throughout the rest of Lent and even getting through Easter, the idea of serious. And what do I mean by serious? Serious in the sense of something that is real, something that is substantive, something that really has an essence to it. Serious. I take this seriously. Serious joy. And this morning, we have that example of serious service. Serious taking it something that is real, something that is substantive, serious foot washing. So our encouragement today for each of us is to say, Lord, help me to be involved with serious foot washing. Because that is also ultimately what brings serious peace. Jesus was getting prepared, as I just mentioned, for that agony of his soul. He would be going to the cross. The worst thing was not the physical pain that he'd be experiencing, but what it would mean to take the sins of the whole world upon himself. And as he's working his way towards that, and next Sunday in our reading we'll have it when he institutes the Lord's Supper. He's instituting the Lord's Supper. But he's emphasizing also throughout all of this that Jesus is indeed, as we heard, he is a servant. We heard in our reading this morning Jesus saying, Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. He knew what was coming. He knew what was going to happen to him. He knew he would rise. He knew he'd be going back to the Father. He knew everything was coming to an end for his accomplishing everything he had to do as a servant. Jesus came as a servant. Can you just imagine it? Jesus is the Son of God. He's God himself. Everything about God is Jesus, and now he comes to serve. And we know that. We hear that all throughout Scripture, including in the Old Testament. Maybe you recall this prophecy about Jesus from the book of Isaiah. Here is my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one, in whom I delight. Thinking of God the Father, looking at Jesus in his ministry. He's a servant. I will put my spirit on him, and he will bring justice to the nations. He will not shout or cry out or raise his voice in the street. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. In faithfulness he will bring forth justice. He will not falter or be discouraged till he establishes justice on earth. In his teaching the islands will put their hope. Jesus as that servant. He was, as we hear often the politicians say, oh, that's a person of the people. God by the miracles he would do. But his divinity, Jesus' divinity was masked by his being a servant. You don't look at Jesus and say, oh, there's the Son of God. He masked it. His glory was put behind him as he served as a servant. Not just serving in a way that we would expect, but in unexpected ways, including something that we may think is trivial in the example that we have before us this morning. Jesus as servant. Remember what Paul wrote. And it's interesting, too, that Paul wrote, listen to the first verse that he wrote from Philippians here. Paul says what we are to do in response to what Jesus does. Here's what Paul wrote in Philippians chapter 2. In your relationship with one another, have the same mindset as Jesus Christ. Right there, that should make us pause. What is Jesus talking? What is Paul talking about? Well, Paul said this, describing Jesus, who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. That whole part of servanthood, what Jesus was doing. Just think about it. What is for us as the commandments, as we follow Jesus' will, follow the Ten Commandments, how are those summarized? Love God, love neighbor. Really what that means, you put it in another way, is love God, love neighbor, by serving God, which includes worshiping, following him. Serve God, serve neighbor. So really, essence, when we talk about loving God, the commandments to love God, love neighbor, it means to serve them. And we remember Jesus' words, too, to emphasize his servanthood. He said this in Matthew chapter 20. You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom. When Jesus instituted or gave that example of washing the disciples' feet, he didn't do something to initiate a new sacrament, something that we have to do that somehow is going to give us the forgiveness of sins or something that we need to do particularly at all. No, it's an example. It's an example that he is to give us for us to be able to follow. And if you look at and think about the context now, here's the context that Jesus is doing that. We heard about the dispute. You heard about the dispute that was mentioned, that the apostles were arguing about who was the greatest. Because this is a compilation from the Gospels. We don't know the timing of all of these things, when it was happening. Did Jesus give the example of washing the disciples' feet in response to the disciples complaining and arguing about who was the greatest? Or did the argument start after that? After Jesus showed his example, then did the argument start? We don't know. The best guess is it may have occurred before, which then really fits in, doesn't it? Here they are complaining, arguing about who's the greatest, and now Jesus sits them down, getting ready for Passover, and he gives us example. What's the situation? The situation is, in those days, obviously, it's dusty. And if you went into somebody's house, not always, but often, if you were there, you would come in, your feet were dirty, and you're going to sit down while you're eating, and you sit on dirty sandals, and you're sitting on maybe a mat or something. The guest would be provided for by the lowliest person on the scale, whether it was the servant or the person that was there that may have been considered to be the least likely to be able to be someone who was honored. They would sit there, they would come out, and they would wash the guest's feet. So here's Jesus. They're sitting down, getting ready for the Passover, and nobody does anything. Nobody stood up in order to stoop down to wash the feet. So what does Jesus do? He gets up and he washes the disciples' feet. something to eat a little bit, but it's not the idea of being a servant. The only example I could come up with thinking about it, if Jesus came to our home, and for some reason, as silly as it sounds, Jesus would be washing, cleaning toilets. That's the same thing. If Jesus came into your house and started to wash your toilet, wouldn't you? What are you doing, Jesus? That's appalling that you should do something like that. There's no way you should even be thinking about doing that. And yet that's what Jesus was doing. And that really is what it means for us to be able to look at. This is something that Jesus is saying was doing, that this is not a one-time thing. Look at the language that's there in the Bible. It's not just, oh, do something now and everything will be okay. This is something that is to be continual. This is something to practice. This is something that would be going, it's an ongoing thing. And it's something that is done willingly. It's things that are done before you're asked to do them. It's looking and being able to say, there is nothing, no matter who I am, no matter what I do, no matter what position I hold, that I am not willing to do something for somebody else. Now, are there certain things in life that we are busy serving in certain ways? We can't do everything. That's not what Jesus' point is. But the point is, if there are things that need to be done, are we ready to do it as an example? It's service. Now, there are some big things that we can do in life. And even that, as Jesus is not talking about, if we really sacrifice, if we really serve, maybe it is something. Maybe you will donate an organ for somebody. Maybe that would certainly be an example of an extreme kind of love that we are to do, wouldn't it be? Or maybe it's something you adopt somebody from a country that is really being oppressed, and you adopt a child from that country and take them in to live with you. Maybe it is something in retirement that you do and you devote a ton of time to being able to say, I'm going to be involved in some activity in helping in the community, or involved in the church, or being involved with that, and being able to serve. Those are spending a special amount of time. That's important, and that is for us to look at in our life too, whether, God, you want me to be able to do that. We've got to look at all our circumstances. But Jesus isn't talking about that. He's talking about the little things that each of us do. Talk about serious foot washing. It's the mindset that we have. It's being able to say, even if it's something that we consider trivial, it's important. It's being able to say, I do know and I do want to be involved if somebody has a need. Maybe it is just a kind word. Maybe it's listening to somebody and looking what their need is. Maybe it is somebody in our congregation being able to look at and say, I know this person has a need. I'm going to be the one. It's me. I'm doing it. I got this. Maybe it's overlooking an offense. Maybe it's somebody that's just been on your nerves and says something to you, and instead of just going right back and fighting and going back at them, you back off because you want to wash their feet. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll back off. You think about it. Even the vacations that we have, the vacations and the things that God gives us to bless, they're fantastic. Being able to take vacations, just to get a long weekend, to have a hobby that you like doing, to practicing. The quiet time that you need. Jesus needed quiet time. He was a true man, a true servant. But what are those preparations for? They're preparations for me to get back ready to serve. By the time we get old, our senior years, and are thinking maybe a little bit more of heaven, it's a matter of, Lord, I'm also pooped out. I'm tired. I'm serving. And Lord, help me to be able to continue to serve willingly. I'm looking out for the other person, everything that I do in life. And obviously the important part is the gospel. It's looking at Jesus first. How did Jesus serve me? That's why I want to serve other people. Jesus served me not just by washing feet and showing an example, but the bigger service, obviously, that he did was to be able to live that sinless life for me. Just being able to say, he's the one fulfilling the commandments. Jesus was fulfilling the commandments of being to love neighbor, which is all those commandments, 4 through 10, he was doing and showing the example from the apostles. What are some practical things of foot washing? Serious foot washing. As you look at what Jesus did, again, compared to what Jesus did, living under those 10 commandments for me so that I have righteousness or justice before God. Jesus getting to that cross. All those things don't compare. That's service. And yet, isn't it times that we think, boy, the things that we do for other people, and we're looking for something in return, or we didn't get to the things that we want, maybe it's because we're thinking more about our time rather than serving God's time? I don't know how you break that down, because God, obviously we need sleep, rest, we work, God blesses our work, but the blessings that we come in serving Him, even at work, is serving God. You're serving your boss, even the boss who may not be the best boss in the world. You're serving him as a Christian and doing the best you can for that boss, regardless of the circumstance. That's serving. It's getting up in the morning and saying, what can I do to serve today, Lord? It's serious, that's what it is. Some of the verses we've had from previous weeks, just listen to some of these. Maybe you're familiar, you've been in worshiping with us. You'll hear some of these again. What are the principles? What's the principle? Well, listen to some of these things. Maybe it's just remembering what would say the golden rule that Jesus taught. Jesus said, "In everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets." That's really what the golden rule. What is the golden rule? It's serve. Remember, the law and the prophets did two things. They told of a coming Messiah. That's the most important thing. Get ready, the Messiah is coming, the Savior of the world. But then it's also to be, what do I do as a believer? Not to earn my salvation, but I want to make it, Lord, I want to put my faith into practice so people can see me and I can show them and talk to them about the Savior. How about this one? Jesus said, love your enemies, do